Crude oil daily forecast, February 21st, fxempire.com. You can see that the light sweet crude market had a very rough session on Wednesday as the risk off attitude prevailed in the marketplace. We actually closed below $95, which in and of itself is a bit of a milestone, but you can see there's a little cluster here that we're trying to fight with right now. That being said, in order to sell this market, you'd have to see a continuation, which essentially means a breakdown below the $94 level. With this being the case, we're not ready to start selling yet, but we certainly don't want to buy this mess. The FMOC came out and suggested that asset purchases may slow down, and that, of course, freaked everybody out. We've been talking for a while here at FX Empire about how a lot of this rally will have been based upon liquidity, upon the Federal Reserve printing dollars. That money needs to go somewhere to store value, and crude oil is a good place for it because you know there's going to be demand later. With that being the case, some of the weaker hands got flushed during the session, and now we've pulled back. So we have our area, $94, that could be a sell signal on a daily close below it. Of course, we could get the supportive candle that we would look for and start buying there. But this had the feeling of a interesting day that just had more weight than many of the other ones. So, having said that, we would not be surprised to see this fall a little bit lower. Looking at the Brent markets, you can see that it was even worse over here. We had a nice solid candle and we closed at the very lows. There's only two things really that kept this market from falling further. Time, because it had to close, and the second thing, of course, was the 115 area, which has a nice cluster here. If we can get below 115, we could see a $5 move relatively quick. This has been a parabolic market, so naturally, if we're going to see some kind of massive correction, this is going to be where you see it the quickest. Looking at this chart, we don't really have a scenario where we want to buy right now unless we get maybe a hammer or something right at the 115. Otherwise, this just looks like a weak and sick market.